Chapter 648, 9 Goddesses of the Empyrean. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. Zhang Yuochen dared not break in. He turned and was about to go when he saw a white holy light soaring overhead. It came to rest just outside the mountain gate. The white holy light emanated a very powerful aura of holy chi. As it descended, the two old priests of the ninth change in the fish-dragon realm knelt on the ground in awe. The two old priests kowtowed and said in unison, "Our respects to the patriarchs." The holy light gradually dissipated, revealing 5 figures. Only a half-saint could soar above the supreme pure palace, therefore, the 5 people in front of them must be the patriarchs of the Yin and Yang sect. Zhang Yuochen was afraid of giving his identity away, so he became very cautious. He immediately bowed his head and retreated to the side of the road. He lifted his eyelids slightly and looked ahead. He saw that 4 of the 5 figures were wearing purple Taoist robes. Powerful holy chi emanated from them. An ordinary monk would not dare look them in the face. Other than the 4 priests, there was a young lady in white standing in front and leading the group. The lady in white was still quite young. With her long black hair and slender figure, she had an otherworldly, transcendental appearance. She resembled a fairy treading on rippling waters. Her body exuded a dazzling holy aura, full of a wondrous delicacy. Although Zhang Yuochen could not really make out her face, he was certain she must be a ravishing beauty. The 4 half-saints of the Yin and Yang sect seemed to consider her their master, opting to stand behind her. One of the 4, an old priest in a purple robe, was standing on the extreme right. He extended an arm and ushered her forward. "Talented lady, this way please." The lady in white nodded and took a step forward. Suddenly, she stopped as if she had noticed something. She turned her eyes toward Zhang Yuochen at the wayside and smiled faintly. The Yin and Yang sect is indeed full of talents. The lady in white merely glanced casually at Zhang Yuochen, but her eyes were very bright. Zhang Yuochen felt his body turning translucent before her. He felt as if his secret had been laid bare to this lady in white. The 4 old priests in purple robes all looked at Zhang Yuochen and showed surprise. When they were soaring just now, the holy aura emanating from them had so awed the 2 gatekeepers that they had to kneel. Both of them were monks of the 9th change in the fish-dragon realm. Yet this young disciple was still standing before them. Very few saint disciples could resist 4 half-saints' holy aura. This young disciple was really not simple. They spared one glance at Zhang Yuochen and then entered the mountain gate together, disappearing into the mists of the ancient god's mountain. Who on earth was that lady? Why is she so respected? Zhang Yuochen heaved a long sigh of relief when they left. His heart raced and his whole body was drenched in cold sweat. The 2 old gatekeepers also got up and heaved a long sigh. They had obviously been under a lot of pressure and only now felt relief. The 2 old priests curiously stared at Zhang Yuochen in the distance. A mere indoor disciple was able to resist the holy aura of 4 half-saint patriarchs. It was incredible. Zhang Yuochen walked over and asked, "Seniors, didn't you say that no one is allowed into the ancient god's mountain today? Who was that lady in white? Why was she allowed in?" The 2 old priests now knew that Zhang Yuochen was rather extraordinary, so they spoke to him more kindly. The old priest on the left said, "Don't you know her? She is the most favored of the 9 goddesses of the Empyrean, Saint Lady. She serves the Empress." The other old priest joined in. "She is a saint, a spiritual power saint." It was said that Empress Ka Yao kept 9 lady officials around her, and they were collectively known as the 9 goddesses of the Empyrean. Saint Lady's main responsibility was to supervise the world. The 5 regions report, which reported all the important occurrences within the entire Kunlun's field, was compiled by her. She knew the secrets of every suzerain, every powerful family, and every college within Kunlun's field. Zhang Yuochen stared in the direction of the ancient god's mountain. He muttered to himself, "So she's Saint Lady." It was once Zhang Yuochen's wish to learn the truth about what happened 800 years ago from Saint Lady. He had not expected that she would be under Ka Yao. Zhang Yuochen now considered Saint Lady a dangerous character. He would certainly not provoke her unless he reached the saint realm. Zhang Yuochen asked the 2 priests how to enter the ancient god's mountain. The 2 old priests told him that only saints' disciples could enter the ancient god's mountain, and only on the first day of each month. Although Zhang Yuochen had already reached the fish-dragon realm, He had not yet taken part in the coronation ceremony. He was not yet a saint's disciple. Back in Zixia Sacred Mountain, Zhang Yuochen returned to his original appearance. He entered the scroll world and took out 2 spiritual crystals, pinching them in his hand and running chi exercises around his body. With his current cultivation, the holy chi within his body could only maintain his disguise for a day. After a day of many unexpected twists, the holy chi within Zhang Yuochen's body was almost completely depleted. It took 2 hours of practice before his holy chi was replenished. If I can break into the 5th change in the fish dragon realm, I can start cultivating my second holy meridian. After that, I will be able to maintain my disguise for 5 days. He had only one goal in mind: to keep improving his cultivation level. He took out the source of spiritual fire, one of the 5 elements spirit treasures. He held it in both hands and started absorbing and refining its essence. Refining the source of spiritual fire could not only help cultivate the 4 spirit treasured body, but it could also raise his cultivation rapidly. After practicing continuously for a month in the scroll world, Zhang Yuochen's body reached a state of saturation. He could no longer absorb any more source of spiritual fire into his body. Zhang Yuochen's physical quality had improved just a little. He was still very far from achieving the 4 spirit treasured body. Of course, the whole month of practice had improved Zhang Yuochen's cultivation greatly. It was comparable to a year's practice for other monks. Zhang Yuochen's Tao of the Sword had improved to a large degree as well. It would not be long before he reached the 5th realm of Sword 1. Today is the day of the coronation ceremony. I will try to break through to the 5th realm afterward. Zhang Yuochen walked out of the scroll world and returned once more to the small yard at Zixia Sacred Mountain. He sniffed and instantly smelled a stench of blood. What happened? Zhang Yuochen released his spiritual power and cautiously walked out of his room. Soon, he saw a bloody corpse on the grass in the yard. It was Zhao Yibing's body. Blackie leapt down from a house beam and slinked out. This old priest snuck into the yard and said he wanted to kill you. I couldn't stand him anymore, so I killed him. It will not cause trouble for you, I hope. Zhang Yuochen stared at the corpse and sighed. There really was no need to. Zhao Yibing had been relegated to a lowly abyss miner by half-cent Zixia. He was not resigned to this. He wanted to kill Zhang Yuochen before he left and release some resentment. His luck was terrible, though, because he met Blackie, a cyan-robed elder slapped to death by the paw of a fat cat. Zhao Yibing must have harbored deep resentment at the moment of his death. It shouldn't cause trouble, right? Asked Blackie. Zhang Yuochen shook his head and said, since the man is already dead, what else can I do? Take his body into the scroll world quickly and dispose of it. A coronation ceremony was held once a month within the Yin and Yang sect. The venue of the ceremony was the ashram of the Supreme Pure Palace. On that day of each month, many would gather on the ashram of the Supreme Pure Palace. All the indoor disciples of the 3 palaces and 72 yards would be there to enjoy the bustle. If they were lucky, they could catch a glimpse of a half-saint patriarch. Finally, a saint's disciple had emerged from Zixia Sacred Mountain. As expected, half-saint Zixia treated the occasion with great importance. He emerged from his secluded practice and personally brought Zhang Yuochen into the Supreme Pure Palace. Half-saint Zixia's identity was so special that he would not show his face. After releasing Zhang Yuochen on the ashram, he turned into a streak of holy light and flew into the Supreme Pure Palace where he joined the other half-saints. Zhang Yuochen had burned incense and bathed in the morning. He had also changed into a cyan robe worn only by saints' disciples. It's just the monthly coronation ceremony, yet so many are here to witness it. Zhang Yuochen glanced out from the ashram and discovered there was a multitude assembled. Aside from outer disciples, a great number of indoor disciples were also present. Didn't you know that a great beauty would be seen during this month's coronation ceremony? We can witness a fierce contest as well. Such things don't happen every month. That's why they are here to enjoy it. A sinister laugh rang out behind Zhang Yuochen. While speaking, the person extended his arm and placed it casually on Zhang Yuochen's shoulder. His other hand stroked the moustache above his lips. looking coolly licentious. Yue. Zhang Yuochen finally reacted. The person was speaking to him. Zhang Yuochen turned and looked at him. This man looked like he was in his 30s. He had an aquiline nose with a prominent bridge. His nose was hooked like an eagle's beak. Zhang Yuochen looked very calm as he asked, "Who are you?"